Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and you're probably hearing some mowing, a mower. I'm not sure. Oh, it's over there. Yeah, but it's kind of loud. Anyway, I'm back going to physical therapy. I'm back on physical therapy today, and I probably will have to have it the rest of my life for muscle atrophy because of my rare health condition. And I've done enough videos about them trying to medicate. It's too risky to operate. They're trying to medicate. The doctor put me, well, the doctor, not they, but and my body had a really bad reaction to it, and it put on like 25 pounds, somewhere around there, of fluid, okay, and retained about 25 pounds of fluid. And once I told the doctor, nope, a pound came off a day, and that was just in like 43, 44 days. And since then, a pound came off a day, but also a little extra. And now I'm down from the highest that I recall, down 33 pounds. Yeah, like I said, water weight. And I feel much more comfortable about starting, physical therapy. And again, I was bigger before when I was doing physical therapy, and it was kind of uncomfortable. I wouldn't say painful, but uncomfortable. And because of the extra weight, it's hard on my feet, hard on my body. And that was enough. Enough was enough. But this will be the third time that I've started in physical therapy. Let's see how long it lasts. Okay, why is that road work ahead? Oh, it's just in that lane. I was in this lane too, but anyway, I don't know what they're doing over there. That's the high school on this side. I don't know. I actually taught at that school. So years ago. Anyway, so I'm on my way to physical therapy. Hopefully this will go. I'm going to go back to the physical therapist that I had the first one. Second time I didn't get a choice. I don't recall, and I've been dealing with all this stuff for this long. It was since last year, I think I started physical therapy at the end of 2024, actually. And, or maybe not. Maybe it was early last year. And I've been dealing with so much because, I'm going to state it flat out. When you have doctors who will not, they'll find a way, and even their nurses find a way to ignore when I put in the portal, typed in, say, if I need this procedure, I need you to write in the medical records or in through the portal, from their account, that states, because I've sent it to their account, that states it's medically necessary at this time, and why. Not amazingly, not a single one of them has done that. So, yeah, I'm not going to have that done. It's a real expensive procedure, very invasive procedure, and has a lot of risk. It could kill me. But they're not wanting to put, just right on, you're so certain that it's medically necessary at this time, and you're so certain, well, you don't actually use those words, but you tell me that they need it because, this test that they run won't tell them all that they need. Well, then why did you run that test? How much is that how much you get off of that one? Oh, really? When you live a life and you're actually, and I am actually, I never tell anybody that my IQ score, but I'm actually a genius. And you live a life where people think you're some dumb country hick because of your accent. And then when they start to find out that you're not, and I don't flat out tell them, it's none of their business. I was raised to, with humility, raised to, to not brag, and it's not bragging, it's just fact. It's fact, period. But when you're like this, and I don't go, like I said, I don't go around, nobody knew until I was in my 50s. Seriously, I knew, test proctors knew, that kind of thing, but nobody I knew. And, but when the people think that you're a dumb country hick, they will say some of this things. Oh, they try all kinds of bull, and they get really, really angry when they start to realize that you're not a pushover. Now, what they thought they were going to get, they were going to use you like you wouldn't believe. You're just a dumb country hick pushover. But then they find out, no, you're not. Oh, that anger for one, they know they're wrong, and how they should be humiliated. Should be. Well, they're not, yeah, or not, who knows. They're just very angry. See, it says 357 over there. We got our gas in my SUV, the one I'm driving right now. Yesterday, before we went to the Dollar Tree, at $3.12. Over there it says 357. Wow, and that one's only that place is only probably a mile, 2 miles max, I would think, from here. Amazing. This one over here says 309. Kroger right there on the other side of me. So why does that one still say 357? Don't know. Anyway, maybe they just haven't changed their signs yet, right? I don't know. You never know. We saw the same kind of thing up the road, so different store though. Anyway, do you hear that noise? There is a car next to me, and it is that. I don't think anything's wrong with the car. Maybe they have some kind of special muffler, but it sounds like it's vibrating. The car is vibrating, which is kind of scary, because when I was backing up today from my house, I guess it was just the way the sun was hitting my camera, the backup camera, but it looked like smoke. I mean, it looked like smoke. I kept looking to see where's smoke, and then I'm driving down the road, and there was a couple of guys walking on the sidewalk like they're doing exercise or something. It's in the morning. Right now it's 8:03, but and one of them just kept staring at me, and I was like, I looked at him like, why are you staring? I was driving down the road, he kept staring at me, and I thought, oh, what if it's the smoke? What if my SUV is smoking? Anyway, it was just kind of freaky, but that one, like I said, was vibrating. So, making at least noise, it sounded like it. So I do kind of wonder what it's going to be like to go back to doing physical therapy. This time, I'm not going to do really, let them start off too fast, because I had pneumonia, and I do wonder, I used to get this twice a year, but it was different when I was younger. I'd get it because of the seasonal allergies and all this stuff, and you don't catch pneumonia, you develop it. That's the way I was taught, and whether that's true or not, who knows. I'm not a voice of authority on anything medical at all, or laws, or any of that stuff. I'm a social and behavioral scientist there, period. And anyway, when I was real sick in September, didn't know what it was, never had that kind of problem before, but then it knocked me down, and that's how it always has been with pneumonia. But not that, pneumonia itself would knock me down for like a month and a half. But this that I had in September, I never had anything like it, but it still knocked me down, like pneumonia knocks me down a month and a half. And but not in the same kind of symptoms at all. Don't know. It was just something makes me sick twice a year. Back to that. Kind of smoking a cigarette. Hopefully I don't start smelling it. Phew. I don't want that kind of smell in my SUV. But I got it to where it wouldn't be, but you never know. Anyway, yeah, since I had pneumonia this last time, I am very much even more picky about who I'm around. People who go to doctor's offices wearing a ton of perfume. I mean, let me tell you, Adam, he doesn't usually smell odors or scents at all. And if Adam complains about somebody's perfume, then they pour the bottle on. Exaggeration, of course, but yeah, because he doesn't tend to smell anything. Why? I don't know. And he said, well, no, you just got a really sensitive nose. No, mine's pretty much normal. Somebody adds a lot of perfume or cologne on. Yeah, I smell it. Like the last time I was in physical therapy, a guy walked in and he had a lot of cologne on. And I didn't say anything except I have natural responses, of course. I'm a human. And okay, I'm thinking I don't want to park right here. I don't know if you can see it because of all the shadow and everything, but it's a really big drop, seriously. This is much better. I'm up on the hill, as you see now. There's no big old drop. I mean, that's a huge drop. I always worried when I'd exit. I would think, how many people have actually, like that. But anyway, where was I? So totally lost my place. There was also some music, real loud music from a guy's truck. He had his window rolled down, playing his music really loud. Guess it wakes him up in the morning and everybody else around him. But I cannot remember where I was. I know I was at one point talking about doctors not wanting to put it in writing with their John Hancock on it. Yeah. And just for the record, I'm not naive. I'm not dumb country hick. Wasn't born yesterday. I know what it's all about. But anyway, and I was going to go do this physical therapy. After all these, and I was talking about all this year long, over a year. It was March of last year but it's even before then, because the physical therapist that I'm going to see is the one who told me, you need to go to your doctor. This is not good. She was the one warned me, and I listened to her. Thank goodness. I could have died if I hadn't. But hopefully there's no problem with this, because she could have gotten upset whenever I came back, and they had where I called to get I had to have a referral, and then they called, or I had to call them to set up an appointment, and they didn't tell me. I didn't, I don't know if that's because I didn't remember her name or whatever. They just told me who is available, and it was a different physical therapist. So I didn't really have a choice that I knew of. But then I started thinking, I'm going to see. So this time I did, and they said, she's available, she has an appointment. It was like 2 weeks away though, but still, But she, she was okay, so we'll see. And I just want to be able to start getting back to work, without fear of so much pain or so much, so much worry. Because I do know that I'm going to see in physical therapy whenever I can how well I can walk up steps. Because when I was in physical therapy before, but then I had that really bad problem, didn't know it, I couldn't do steps. Okay, just one step. They have one step. I couldn't do them. I mean, I did some of them, but it was like, the little curbs, to go. You see, like right here where I park, there's a little curb. couldn't even walk up or down these. It was too painful. Seriously, and all that weight. Well, the biggest part, like I said, woof, because I had that 48 pounds from before, and I had lost some of it. But like I said, where I was, the highest of all total, which doesn't factor in those lose, gain, this kind of stuff. But at the top weight, I am down 33 pounds. So, but that's still, the top weight was 70 pounds. I said it wrong before, but it was 70 pounds. So I'm down 30 of it. And it's not one of those I can just diet it off, and that's not how it works. So, not with this rare health condition, that's not how it works. It's not a dieted off. I wonder what that place is over there. I really do. Right in front of me. Well, it could be a school, as far as I know. But it looks like they have a barbecue pit outside, so maybe not a school. Maybe it's a senior living community. But why would they have a child's playground, whatever those are called? Don't know. Yeah, you should be able to see, it's sad that there's kind of a fog, you see, where the light is. The light, that's called the sun. Hello, Grace, that's called the sun. But with the clouds and everything, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, I said I'm going to wrap this up, and then I realized I was 45 minutes early. So what am I going to do, sit here and twiddle my thumbs? But maybe I could talk about other things. Like, I had been watching this series, and I'm telling you, this series, I'm not going to say which one it is. I think I did in one video. So I don't like to say, I'm really not good at reviews as it is, but I don't like to, if I'm going to have something negative to say about something I don't like, or a person, I don't say their name or anything, or the name of a movie, nothing. It's going to be something really negative. I tend not to at all. But this one, whoa. Wow, I mean, I guess I had seen it before. I don't know. I mean, seen it's on one of those, what do they call them now? Streaming. You can stream it on. Well, they just used to be apps, or you just call them by their name. And anyway, I saw it on one, just like another one kept popping up, and then so this one did. So that's two. So I thought I'd check it out. And the first one was more about teenagers, but it had a lot of adults, their parents and such, enough to keep me interested, and it was the mysteries. But this one, the more recent one, it was about young adults in their 20s, say around 30, age 30. And it was during this time that I was seeing things like calling doctor's offices to schedule an appointment. Like, I called a doctor's office, and the woman was my age group, and she had an accent like I'm used to, being born and raised in Texas, and that part of Texas, which is not here. This is Texas, but it's not the same part of Texas that I grew up in. And she was just so rude. Just so very rude. And I had to call back another day, and then when she was rude again, I told her, I said, no, never mind. I wouldn't go to see a doctor when somebody like you there being so rude. I'm more vocal these days, definitely more. I've never really been quiet as far as that way. I've found my voice a long time ago. And for her to be so rude, like the woman in the grocery store, just when was it, last week? That, or the week before, but she'll come up to me. I was just, I was on one of those electric shopping carts because of, getting over pneumonia, all that. I was, over it, but I hadn't regained my stamina yet. And she told me to move out of her way. She come walking up behind me, told me to move out of her way. Whether she thought I was an employee or not, I don't care. You are not that entitled. I could only see her from the side, and I said, stand in line and wait your turn. Oh, I was livid. For me, livid is still mild-mannered, but to stand in line and wait your turn. I said it like that. I mean, enough to where anybody right there, like the produce manager kind of guy, I didn't know he was there, but they would have heard me. I said, what are you doing telling me, somebody like me, to move out of your way, somebody in an electric shopping cart? I wasn't looking right at her because she was behind me, you know, on the side, and she was pushing her body like to move me out of her way. And the electric shopping cart was right there. I had to move so I wouldn't fall on it, and I'm not worried. I mean, I'm not going to fall all over and fall on the floor and break a hip like one of my sisters fell and broke her hip. And so I moved out of the way, and I was trying to navigate, and I said, are you that entitled? And she apparently had run away while all that was happening. Oh, yeah, somebody might be a little vocal. You come up, what nerve? Really, some days it's what nerve. But so I was thinking about how some people think that they must have gotten the message wrong of what it means to find your voice. You know, they take it quite literally, and that they need to talk over everybody. They needed to be pushy, use their voice to be pushy and get their way. You know, you're going to get called on the carpet, especially by somebody like me. That's not empowerment. And the whole thing is they think that's empowerment. Their voices are heard. The ones that I called and who were so rude, start talking over me, or they call me and they're so rude to talk over me, because they won't, like the one that wanted me to give him my, it was from a rehab, not a physical therapy, but a rehab, different kind, and they wanted me to give them my credit card number over the phone so they could get $1,700 off of it, because they said that's my they didn't say they, as in it was one of the three, and that on that one phone conversation, and she kept talking over me like she was on Red Bull or something. That's the way I put it one day, that she had too much Red Bull or too much caffeine all around on something to be so hyper, you know. And I don't know, I never tried Red Bull, so I don't know. I would probably, yeah, I can't take caffeine at all. Okay, what just happened to the thing I had on my, what? Oh my goodness. That thing that was on my hand, the tissue that I put a piece of tape on because of the paper cut, it got lost all of a sudden. It was underneath my chair. Anyway, where was I? Well, where was I? Oh, the rudest people. And so I made 2 videos saying this is not empowerment. You know, women empowering women. This is not, no, because it's like woman to woman kind of thing. And then that movie, that series that I was watching, the second one, and oh my goodness, well, they're trying to teach women that the empowerment that they need, and this is one of those, I guess you could call it, I haven't heard this term used in so long, subliminal messages, you know, that women's empowerment is about, if they're not barefoot and married, barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen, like some people used to say was their woman's place when I was young. Yeah, married, barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen. You know, as in they shouldn't have jobs and take away men's jobs. That's what was said when I was a child. I remember hearing it, and I remember I remember then, as a child, in a child's mind, but still one that was a genius, thinking about how wrong that was. And I've lived a life and seeing women get empowered, and being one who made steps to help women be empowered, and then seeing on this series, it had three seasons, that, like I said, I'm not going to say the name of it, but that they were teaching, like I said, you could call it subliminal messages, that those who aren't married, barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, that they're only worth one thing, and that's for men to use, and that they should talk all kinds of, like, what they were trying to be, just smutty. Is that a word even? I know smut, but is it smutty? Seriously, just saying, oh my gosh, some of it, it's like, that would be like, in a porn or something. I don't even know if that, I really don't know, would be something that, I'm not much of a prude either, but oh my goodness, that was so filthy. Their mouth, what they were saying, I mean, it was beyond. You can watch all kinds of shows and you see some scenes, just regular TV shows, not TV, you could see them on TV channels or on cable channels. And it's not the ones that in the past, I mean, there was some you had to pay for or some hidden or what, I don't know. But, I mean, I do and I don't, because I never was much on watching TV. Okay, or anything on TV. I was more into computers. But, this kind of stuff wasn't even on the worst. The way they would say, I mean, I'm thinking this was what they wanted. If it is subliminal, I mean, that's bad. Subliminal is not a good thing. For people. My goodness, really? This is what you want to, young women? Because they were like all in their 20s, around age 30, I think pretty much all of them. But then of course they had those older, like their parents kind of thing. And, but to teach them that's their worth, that's their empowerment, is to be able to talk smutty and go to restaurants more than once and talk about, say things like, well, she is doing what she was doing with the man. With the man. Go into detail. Gross. No, who is in a restaurant eating wants to hear stuff like that? I mean, seriously. You gotta understand, it was bad. Somebody just says, oh, they're having sex, that's not bad. I mean, it's not as bad as, I mean, it is, depending on where you are. There are also laws, depends on where you are, against stuff like that. But they're there in a restaurant and they're saying stuff like this, talking really loud so other people hear, histrionic much. But to teach people that this is where, it would be both males and females, that this is where women are that aren't barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen and married to men, a man. What is going on? Seriously, what is going on? You heard me heavy sigh. I think it was more that I'm tired. I'm tired of this. Yeah, but no, I'm just kind of still a little sleepy. I think I had like 6 hours. And I'm not usually a morning person, so I'm a night owl these days. But just the nerve. Anyway, I need to get in there and go to the ladies' room, get checked in, and that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about when I get out.